And now to our first conversation. Well, the countdown to official commissioning of the 650,000 barrel per day refinery, that's next Monday. President Muhammadu Buhari, so May 22nd, will commission the Dangote refinery right here in Lagos State. All eyes on that right now, next week, Monday. Well, joining me now is Mr. Bismarck Rawane, CEO of Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Great to have you on the show, so good morning.
Good morning, Ladi, and good morning to all viewers. Thank you.
So the official commissioning is getting really close now. Next Monday, will this mark the end of PMS importation in Nigeria? And will PMS subsidy finally be a thing of the past here in Nigeria, this commissioning?
Okay, thank you very much, Ladi, for having me again. Let's break this down into what people can understand. The commissioning of the refinery project is a major milestone in Nigeria. What will the impact of this be on the Nigerian economy, and what will the impact of this be on the West African and Central African economies? Firstly, it's a 650,000 barrel per day, the largest single train refinery in the world. It is cutting-edge technology, so it brings you the amount of refined products you get per barrel of crude is of the highest quality and highest input-output ratio. 3, it is a major investment, which means that the guys behind this had a lot of courage and confidence in the system. 4 is that this refinery is also partly owned, I think 20% in all, owned by NNPC. Now, 2 is that the refinery business is a downstream business. The E&P business, the petroleum business is divided into 3 areas. There's upstream, there's midstream, and there's downstream. Refining falls into the downstream area. Now, what will the refinery do for Nigeria? Right now, what system we have is that we export crude for refining and it's brought back. So it has no direct foreign exchange impact as such, because the crude that you send for refining and processing in Rotterdam is what is brought back to you in terms of finished products. So it is the logistics cost and the transportation cost that actually. But today, refineries are based on a hub and economies of scale process. The bigger the refinery, the more efficient, the lower the average cost, and the more it impacts the society and the markets which it services. So in the whole of West Africa, there's no refinery hub. This will be the refinery hub for West and Central Africa. Now, 2, what are the other refinery hubs that you have around? There's a major one in India, there's Singapore, there's Rotterdam, there's Houston, and then across the world. Okay, now, what is it going to produce? Commissioning on 22nd by His Excellency the President. It's a modular system. That is, it's going to be phased out. Initially, you will have diesel produced. Essentially, then you will have dual-purpose kerosene, and before it gets to PMS down the road. 2, that the first benefit is that it reduces the amount of time people spend queuing up in different parts of Nigeria for petrol. So it increases output, downtime, and therefore it by indication increases productivity. Secondly, one of the major cost elements for Nigerian manufacturers and all the sectors across the country is logistics and distribution costs. By having these products produced in Nigeria, your distribution costs will actually decline, and therefore it helps to reduce inflation. Thirdly, the Dangote Group, like many other groups, I think are one of the highest tax-paying institutions in this country. So the refinery is coming at a time. One is partly owned by NNPC. Secondly, just like Aramco in Saudi Arabia. Secondly, it's owned by a group that has invested significantly and pays a lot of taxes in Nigeria. Because the logistics and distribution cost is reduced and the process is more fine-tuned, you are going to be creating jobs, and therefore brings down unemployment indirectly and directly. And again, like I said earlier, reducing the number of queues that you have and the downtime people spend waiting to do that. The sectors that depend on petrol, kerosene, and diesel will have a boom because they can now at least the product is going to be available at all times. And finally, what is how does it affect Central and West Africa, and how does it reduce smuggling of products and undermining the distortions to the macroeconomic stability of this country? One, because its cost is low. Two, because it's efficient to service the whole of West and Central Africa. So we earn more from exporting refined products than exporting crude. That is one. Two, the fact that the smuggling of petrol and this country can be described in a very unique way as a gangster's paradise. There's bunkering of oil, there's stealing and vandalism of crude, there's smuggling of refined products. And the only area that we think things are pretty safe is in the LNG area, because people cannot smuggle gas across and cannot steal gas from the pipeline. So these are the major areas. How will it affect our economy? To affect the economy, one, that it increases growth, increases productivity, increases tax collection. It makes it, and the states get more viable because they're getting more money. And then it comes back to the question of pricing and subsidy. Maybe I'll stop there now.
All right, all of that definitely, sounds good. The picture you painted for us. But how soon can we expect production after commissioning?
Well, I think it's going to be phased out. You'll see some production will start next month, and some it goes all the way down to early 2024. But the thing is that the investment. Let's understand something. Right now, the crude is brought by tanker to the refinery side, and the things are evacuated also using some very inefficient methods right now. But the refinery itself is cutting edge. So what Nigeria has to invest in is the pipeline infrastructure to bring crude to the refinery, and pipeline infrastructure and storage and depots to take it out to different parts of the country. When this happens, you'll see less trailers, less wear and tear on the roads, because what you'll be seeing is that you'll go to Mosemi, you'll go to Kaduna, get to Maiduguri, and all the depots that are there will be reactivated, and all the pipelines to the places will be reactivated. So wear and tear on roads are reduced, and also comes back to pricing. How do you price this? It has to be priced at the market. If not, you would have some production gains, but you would have a subsidy element in the business to still be distorting things. And I think that because of the efficiency, part of the cost efficiency will be passed on to the consumer, and relatively, Nigeria's economy will be better off. But again, the Dangote refinery, or any refinery for that matter, is not a silver bullet that will solve all of Nigeria's problems. The way to look at it is that the commissioning of this refinery and the commencement of production is a necessary condition for macroeconomic stability, but it's not a sufficient condition. You can have it and still have macroeconomic stability, but without it, you will have macroeconomic instability. So it's a necessary condition, but not sufficient to solve all your problems. I think that's a basic understanding of this.
All right, necessary but not sufficient. Well, thank you so much. Countdown to next week, Monday. All eyes on that refinery. Thank you so much, Mr. Bismarck Ruwane, CEO of Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.